Los Angeles and the rest of the world. 5150, Jimmy Cabs, Schmier, Total Destruction of Los Angeles tonight. The last day of the tour.
Yeah.
Under Attack, Los Angeles. Schmier, let me start off by saying this real quick. Way back in 1984, when I had such a sexy figure, and I had beautiful long hair. I was very positive, and girls thought I was cute back then. I received a demo of three amazing bands from Germany. One of them was Sodom, one of them was Creator, and of course, the Bestial Invasion demo. You know who gave that to me? Caden did. Caden from Hyrex.
Caden was the first guy that ever wrote from the States and ordered our demo tape back.
How annoying is that fucking guy? You don't have to answer that. he never shuts up, huh?
He talks a lot. He likes to talk.
I wish he'd fucking get a muzzle. Anyways, Caden gave me this demo, and let me just say, it's been a pleasure ever since. All three bands have been amazing. All three bands have gone on to create their own legacies. All three bands have their signature sounds. Let me start off by asking you this. 30-something years later, whole new demographic of kids. It's like back in the 80s. The only difference is now is these kids are, a little more intelligent with the computer.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know nothing about the post office and the mailman. And they don't understand anything about respecting older so-called thrash fans like myself. Don't shove men my age
into the pit.
How are you enjoying this whole revival again?
It's of course great to see that there's a whole new generation of thrash kids out there, and it's a lot of them started in Latin America also. They had them first, a whole new generation. I remember 15, 16, 17 years ago, the first time we went back into South America, we were like shocked how many young kids came to the shows. And over the years, thrash came back everywhere. And also here, Los Angeles was one of the first cities in North America that had a complete revival of old school kids. And now it's also New York and in Chicago and other cities too. But Los Angeles was one of the first one. And for me, it's great. I mean, as much as I love the old folks like you, it's great to see the fresh blood rising again and people appreciating this fucking, thrash metal is underground. It's uncommercial music. It's nothing that you would expect young kids to come to listen to, but it's this rebellious spirit that keeps on going, that keeps thrash metal alive.
One of the things that I've always found interesting about Destruction is the signature sound. Let me be very honest with you, because we're at an age where we can't bullshit each other. We've grown, we've aged, different musical tastes come into fact. Sometimes what used to really get you crazy and angst doesn't
Are you saying you like to listen to blues meanwhile, or?
I like to listen to blues. I like to listen, I have my moments, a little jazz. But you know what? One of the things that I've always...
24 hours thrash metal is not possible anymore.
No, you'll fucking kill somebody. One of the things that I've always admired is the Destruction sound. Now, this is what I've always admired about the Destruction sound. 14 albums later, Under Attack, out now on Nuclear Blast Records, by the way. One of the things that I've always admired is just when I think everything has become predictable, okay? Just when I'm thinking, you know what, should I really listen to this album? I'm always pleased, just like I was back in 1984 when I got that demo. How is it that you've been able to retain that Destruction sound that is similar, but you don't replicate everything?
Yeah, I mean, we still try to keep in shape. We try to play a lot. We try to stay connected with the roots, and we still love what we do. We still love this music.
That's very evident.
And it's all about the passion, I think. And and also, sometimes people are like, oh, you cannot do this and that, and you cannot change the rules of thrash. But we still try, when we do new albums, still try to push the limits a little bit here and there, and create fresh new songs, And I think just don't be afraid of your own style. Just go there and make it complete, and that's what we do basically. We're trying to progress in our little thrash world and make an album that we would love to buy also. And I think we want to stay happy as a musician is one thing, but of course you also want to please the fans, and I think that's the mix you have to achieve. And yeah, as I said before, like thrash metal need to be pissed off and still, right? Yeah, and we're still pissed off.
Do you still feel comfortable referring to yourself as thrash metal?
Of course. I mean, at the beginning, I didn't ask for the fucking stamp, you know, like they just said all of a sudden, oh, there's a thrash metal, you know, and now for 30 plus years, it's called like this, and I'm totally comfortable with this, you know. It's I'm not comfortable when people start to call me with my first name now because I'm over 40 years old, you know.
Right.
Because I've been Schmier.
Sorry for that, by the way.
I've been Schmier all my life, and now because on Google you can read my real name somewhere on Wikipedia. People calling me my first name. I'm like, dude, on which Destruction album are you called like this? The only person who can call me with my first name is my fucking mother. Seriously,
right.
Because I've been Schmier for 5 years now, and now that I'm older, everybody thinks they have to call me this weird name that disappeared 30 years ago, you know.
I feel you. Jimmy Cabs is not my real name, and for those of you that know it, don't say it.
See, you know what I mean?
This is something that I've also admired about Destruction and the other two. I know there's another band I'm supposed to mention, but I'm not. I'm a fan of the three. Each one of you are independent, but right now is Destruction time. One of the things that I've admired about Destruction for over 30 years is what is most important, because I'm from this generation, the live beast. Another trait that you've been able to master, maintain, and I've been seeing you for a long time. I've given you a lot of my money, so thank you for allowing me to be here on the press credentials.
Cheers.
But this is what I've always admired. No matter what decade it is, no matter what year I am, and no matter what weight I am, the Destruction sound live is still dangerous. How have you maintained that? How do you do that?
I mean, we still love to play live, and I think you have to stay in shape. You know, you have to play. We play sometimes 150 shows a year, and that's the way you keep the machine rolling. You know. When you don't play, you get rusty, you know. And we keep on playing. I think there's no month of the year where we don't have shows. We play every month, and if we take it like a little more slow in summer, we play like some festivals. Then we maybe have only one festival or two festivals a month, but basically you're playing all year, and that keeps you in shape.
Let me ask you a question, and if you don't want to answer that, I understand. I have a problem when I come to your shows now dealing with the youth. As I mentioned before, they're rude, they shove me around. I've seen them go up on stage, and they don't go to and jump off like back in my era. They want to be up there and shake your hand and headbang and bump the mic into your mouth. How do you deal with that all over the world?
I mean, sometimes there's really cool crowds when they know and they jump on stage with respect and they don't jump on your microphones. But of course, there's a lot of idiots. They jump on the microphones. The microphones hit your fucking teeth. You spit the teeth out.
Right.
No, not again. You know, and but sometimes there's crowds that are respectful, and that's what you can say. You know, the kids need to learn, of course, to thrash as a unit. You help the people out in the mosh pit when they fall down, and also when you go on stage, you gotta have respect for the band. We're fucking playing. If you jump on my microphone or my fucking guitar, I can't play anymore. You know, we gotta stop the show because of one fucking idiot. You know, and we don't want that. So it's important the kids have to learn that. Don't stop the show, you know. It's all violent fun, but don't jump on the fucking musicians, you know.
Let me ask you a positive question to that. Do you enjoy seeing these kids run around like maniacs and getting all that energy way back like 30 years ago when you started?
Of course. I mean, it's the essence of a live show, of a thrash live show, is the crowd and the band interacting, the energy, you know.
Most important.
And when we have a boring show, I still try to give 100% every night. But if I have a great crowd that has a lot of energy, I'm even pushed harder, and then you give 110%, you know. So it's a very important part of a thrash metal concert that the crowd is energetic.
So basically, everyone is fueling each other with the energy.
Exactly like this, yeah.
How do you do that? Again, Under Attack on Nuclear Blast Records, out and out. 14th album. How have you been able to maintain that creative energy to make the Destruction record, 14th now, that will make the kids, you, and me for about 5 minutes because my back's fucked up, headbang like crazy? How do you do the writing process for that?
We write between the tourings mainly at the moment.
Really?
And we also keep a little more distance between the albums, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't have to push yourself into the studio. And
no stress.
And no stress, exactly.
Yeah.
You write when you feel like it. And you bring also the energy from the road into the studio sometimes. And you feel creative because it just played in front of a lot of people. It was great shows. And you feel inspired to write again, you know? So we find the balance between all that. And there was times when we had to write albums every year or every 2 years, and that's never a good thing. Nowadays we have the great achievement that we don't have to do an album every 2 years. We can do an album whenever we want, and whenever we're ready, we start writing. and keep it fresh is the main
Do you-
thing.